Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today with some big balancing changes in Clash of Clans. So we were promised balancing changes for quite a while now since Supercell returned from their summer holidays, and we have them. So I'm going to do this video just listing what the changes are, and then in the second half of the video, we'll go ahead and discuss them and how I feel about them, and yeah, a lot of thoughts to get to. So the first change is a buff to cannons, an increased damage from levels 11 to 14, that's Town Hall 9 and above. We currently are developing a better defensive answer to mass attacks in mid-size units. For now, a cannon damage boost will help pick up the slack. The second change is a reduction in miner movement speed. They say miners are a bit too speedy for a unit that burrows underground, making them too efficient at overwhelming and wiping out entire villages. The third change is healers. Healers now trigger all air traps. Healers have become a staple high-level troop, but stay out of defensive range too safely, sometimes for the entire battle. Cue the seeking air mines. And the last change in today's balance update will be to the Eagle Artillery. Attackers can deploy more of their army before Eagle Artillery will activate. Eagle Artillery's quick activation limits phase-based attacks more than it needs to. This change gives attackers more early battle flexibility. So before I get into my thoughts, guys, first I have to tell you the first thing I did when I got these changes this morning to prep for this video is I asked Supercell, I asked the Clash team, what are the numerical values behind three of these big things, right? So we don't know what the Eagle Artillery activation will be. We don't know how faster, or excuse me, how slower the miner movement speed will be, and we don't know the percentage of buff that the cannons got, and unfortunately wasn't able to get any of those values. You guys may know that the Clash Royale team is very transparent and open with their numerical side of their values, whereas the Clash of Clans team is historically very guarded and to the vest with their numerical values and transparency, whether it be matchmaking algorithms or even their troop values. They usually don't share those with us, so I don't have those for you guys today, so we'll have to figure that out on our own when this hits, which should be tomorrow, Tuesday, so that will be live in-game tomorrow. Expect a maintenance break for these changes. That could be subject to change, though, but that's, as far as I know, it will be going live tomorrow, or if you're watching this later, then it might already be live. So let's talk a little bit about these changes, because I have some strong initial opinions on all of the changes. Now, before I get into them, I do want to say that I kind of want to apologize for being negative, because the rest of this video is going to be kind of negative because I'm not a fan of a lot of these changes. I'm going to tell you why too, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think, because I haven't had a chance to talk any of these out with absolutely anybody. So these are just my opinions here. Take them with a grain of salt. But I always try to be positive. I do love the game, obviously, so don't overreact to my negativity here. But I have to say that unfortunately, I think the team really missed the mark here on these balancing changes. I mean, who am I? I'm just one person. Maybe the community will actually like these, and if that's the case, then more power to the team and more power to the community. But I have my YouTube channel to share my opinion, and that's what I'm gonna do, damn it. So going on to these changes, right? The very first one was the whole cannon thing. The level 11 through 14 cannons got a buff. They're gonna have an increased damage amount. We don't know what that amount is, but I love it. I've always advocated strongly for indirect nerfs, so indirectly that nerfs ground armies a little bit, and I think that's the way to go. I think that ground armies did need a little bit of a nerf. I think air armies need some room, some space to actually shine, and I think that there's level 11 through 14 is actually perfect, because when you think about it, Town Hall 9 is the first Town Hall where you can fit 5 bowlers in your clan castle, so that's why almost every single Town Hall 9 attack, any kind of competitive strategy at Town Hall 9 includes max bowlers in the clan castle, and Town Hall 9 cannons level 11 will actually be able to combat that too. So basically the cannon buff ends up giving a little nerf to bowlers and ground attacks all throughout Town Hall 9, 10, and 11. I think that's pretty fair. Agree or disagree, you know, at least it's an indirect nerf, so it doesn't really penalize people out there who took the time to upgrade their bowlers and now are going to be, you know, frustrated, because if Supercell directly nerfed bowlers, it would be pretty frustrating that you finally get them leveled up and then boom, a big direct nerf hits them. So I actually like that a lot. Moving on though, that's pretty much where my positive energy comes to a crashing halt when we move on to the miner movement speed. So I don't even know where to begin with this one. So miner movement speed has been reduced. However, their attack speed remains the same. Now, I might be crazy here and I might be way off base, but to me, that sounds like an indirect buff to miners, not a nerf. Because the movement speed, well, when the miners move, they're underground. So essentially, they actually move slower underground when they're invincible and invulnerable, and then they attack at the same rate when they're vulnerable and up above ground. So unless I'm just misunderstanding that, it sounds like it's actually going to buff the miners and not nerf them. And I think the intention, based on their little blog, is to actually nerf them. So I might be wrong there, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Furthermore, I'm not a big, if that was intended to be a nerf and I'm just reading it wrong, I'm not a big fan of direct nerfs. As I said before, you know, I think that miners are definitely very powerful, and I think that mass miners do go against the stated philosophy of the Clash team, whether you agree or disagree. I think a lot of the Clash team, or the entire Clash team, really is united on the fact that they don't like mass spam attacks, and that should be very apparent because they've mentioned that publicly on the forums, and they actually even allude to it in this very blog post that I'm referencing. By the way, I'll go ahead and link the blog post in the description if you guys want to read it over yourselves, although I did include all the text in the beginning of this video. So moving on here, miners don't know what to think really, but moving on to the real big one that I think is going to have a lot of people up in arms here, and that is the healer nerf. So healers now trigger traps. So I don't even know where to start with this one. First, I want to ask why. Why did they do that? I don't think that anybody was calling for healer nerfs at all. I think that a lot of people wanted additional levels to healers. I wasn't one of those people, but I certainly wasn't someone who was unhappy with the strength of healers. Now, let me tell you a little bit about why I don't have a problem with queen walks or any sort of a queen walk or HGHB or any sort of healer relationship with ground troops. Nerfing healers to me seems incredibly hypocritical because they say, the Clash team says, they really want multi-phase attacks, and a healer-queen relationship or a queen walk is the #1 recipe for a first phase on attack, for setting the table, for establishing the funnel, for doing all those things that promote phased attacks. So nerfing it actually, nerfing the queen walk or nerfing any type of healer relationship with a ground troop actually promotes spam attacks even more. I'm at a loss for words, to be honest with you, on why they're going to nerf the healer-queen relationship. Now listen, I've seen it, you might have seen it too, but there are a vocal minority of people who absolutely hate queen walks, who absolutely hate any healer attacks. And to those people, I don't even know what to say, other than maybe you're not Town Hall 9 or above yet, and you just imagine that they're OP. But you know what, every single video I do with a queen walk, no matter what strategy it is, guys, you can go back and look, I get dozens of comments per video asking, Ash, I need help with my queen walk. Ash, I just can't get this queen walk down. She doesn't go in the right direction, or she dies, or I can't funnel in my wall breakers. There's just tons of questions, and that's really to reiterate that, you know what, a queen walk is not a brainless strategy. A queen walk is nowhere near the equivalence of spam attacks where you just close your eyes and drop a troop. Queen walks actually do require skill in planning, especially if you want to get more technical. And, you know, think about it, right? It requires somebody to actually look at the map. They have to decide where they're going to deploy their queen. They have to decide how they're going to cut off one of the queen side of the funnel with minions or whatever, wizards or whatever. They have to plan out the queen walk. They have to wall break the queen in if they want to achieve some of the objectives. And it requires a lot of precision, timing, and skill, and the ability to adjust on the fly. For example, if your queen takes heavy damage, you might have to use a rage spell to keep her up when you didn't plan on using one. You might have to use the queen ability real quick. You might have to go ahead and use the Grand Warden ability to protect your queen. There's a lot that can go wrong in queen walks, and to say that it's a brainless strategy and that they want to nerf it, to me, it doesn't make any sense, guys. You know, I'm at a loss of words. I don't know why they would do that. I don't know why they would touch the healer-queen relationship. I think that they're dead on when they say that it's one of the staples of high-end gameplay from Town Hall 9 and beyond. To me, I don't see anything wrong with queen walks or queen or healer-queen relationships at all. I think it does require a lot of planning and skill, and it's a technical attack, and it's a great part of the game. I don't see why you should nerf it. That's just me personally, guys. You might disagree with me, but I can only speak my mind, my friends. So let's talk about the last one, and this is going to be an ironic little thing to talk about here, the Eagle Artillery, right? So the Eagle Artillery, they made it so that you can deploy more troops on the battlefield before it activates. Now, in a vacuum, I would say this is actually not a terrible idea. It does promote phased attacks a little bit, you know? I don't think it's going to fix everything, but I think it's a good idea to we don't know how much it's increased, by the way, but maybe if they increase it another 25 or 50 troop capacity, that could be interesting. And you know what? If I didn't know about this healer nerf, I would say, you know what? Maybe the Clash team wants us to add like a few giants or bowlers or golems to our queen walk and really make a big bulky first phase surge into a base. But with the big hit to the healer, I'm not sure that's going to be as possible as it was. I mean, overall, I guess I don't hate the Eagle Artillery portion of the balance tweak. We'll have to see what it actually is. Again, we don't know the numbers, but we're gonna have to wait and see. I think I'm still up in the air on that one. So guys, I'm really interested to hear what you say on these balance changes. Hopefully I'm dead wrong and they all really add a bright new meta to the game. I want to hear what you guys think. Am I wrong? Am I right? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you like what the Clash team is doing here? Let me know in the comments below, guys, and as always, take care, guys.